Welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. I am your host, Tatiana, and I am a master mindset coach, and I'm obsessed with empowering you to live and create your best life possible. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, life, happiness, and success, then you are in the right place. My goal with this podcast is to help you see the potential within yourself, to be able to break the limiting beliefs and habits that are holding you back, and to help you feel inspired to get clear with who you are in order to create the life you desire. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get into today's episode. Hello, welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. I am so excited to have you here listening today. Today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how I found self-love and sharing my journey of it, as well as how I was able to find self-love and giving you tips and tricks on how to find self-love for yourself. I got such an amazing feedback when I posted a previous episode on how finding self-love has impacted my life, how it's impacted my relationships with women, myself, my confidence, and just being able to love everybody because I found the self-love within myself. And I know you guys are wondering, how did I find such self-love for myself? So I'm here to share that with you. And I just want to start off with saying, if you are in the middle, in the beginning, or on some self-love journey, or if you haven't started yet, just know that you are where you're meant to be, but you are so worthy of loving yourself no matter what. And I hope today's episode brings that love that you deserve for yourself. All right, so let's get started. I'll start with my journey. So growing up, I did not have love for myself. I constantly did not feel good enough. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel pretty enough, skinny enough. And I started to have a very bad relationship with myself and a bad body image at a very young age. And I do share my journey based on my health journey. If you want to go back a couple episodes sharing why I really struggled with loving myself inward. But growing up, I just did not like who I was. And it was just really sad. I relied on others for love. I constantly would look at myself in the mirror. Wow, I'm getting emotional saying this right now. Ooh, I just got images in my mind of those moments. So I constantly would look at myself in the mirror and I would rip myself apart at such a young age. And I'm emotional right now because I was so young. I was so young. And I felt unworthy and I didn't feel good enough and I didn't love myself. And I honestly don't know how old I was when this started. Maybe 8, 10, 12. It doesn't matter. Looking back, I can't believe how young I was. So this kind of took me for surprise. I did not mean to get emotional right now, but having these images in my mind just triggered because I feel so much for my my child self. So I would look at myself in the mirror and I used to rip myself apart. I stopped eating in 7th grade. You can listen on that episode, my health journey one, because I just didn't feel skinny and pretty enough. And this affected me so much into my older teenage years and my early adult years. I was never happy with myself. I went into a deep depression. I had anxiety. I struggled. At first, I relied on external things to feel love. And I then realized I was struggling receiving love from others, from a relationship I was at the time, because I didn't feel worthy and I didn't love myself. And all of this just created a victim mindset, lots of jealousy of women who were confident and beautiful and had love from themselves and men, and just makes me so sad. And looking back now in hindsight, it makes sense because it makes sense that I couldn't receive love from others, because how can you truly receive love from others when you don't love yourself, right? It's the same concept. How can you get respect from others if you don't respect yourself? And I just want to share my journey, and I want to share how I've developed so much self-love for myself, because it has absolutely changed my life, not only for myself, but the relationships, my confidence, everything about my life. Once I started looking inward and nurturing myself and loving myself for who I was, the good, the bad, the ugly, it has absolutely changed my life. And you know what? I'm worthy of it. You're worthy of it. Loving yourself is not selfish. It's not. I don't know why people think that. You are worthy of loving yourself, and you cannot fully love others or receive love from others until you love yourself. So just wanted to say that. And I feel like this all starts because we're conditioned within our society that we must like look a certain way, be a number on a scale to get love from others. Growing up, the trend was, being really skinny and I don't know, horrible hairstyles. And now it's like having, small waist, a big butt, big lips, like the Kardashians. And we're literally programmed to think we must look or be a number on a scale to feel worthy of love. And that's not the case. We're just souls or spirits in human bodies. We're more than our bodies. We're more than a number. So how I first was able to embark my self-love journey was I first became aware of women who actually were loving themselves and owning their bodies, no matter their flaws. And I started realizing how they started to embrace them and they shared it with everyone. This was the beginning of social media and of Instagram. And I know now is a big like self-love body movement, but it really wasn't like that when it first started, or at least what I saw, through the magazines, through the TVs, all that stuff. And when I finally found these women, it really opened my eyes that it's okay and that we are all made differently and unique. And seeing them own their flaws gave me the courage to do so as well. Because why do I want to look like someone else? God made me different for a reason. And at the end of the day, no matter how I looked, I'm still worthy of love for myself and from others. So the first thing I would do is when I would look in the mirror every day, I would still have old thought patterns and behaviors because it was ingrained in my head. I had done it for my entire life. But I would catch myself and I would talk. I talk to myself out loud. That's just me. And I would talk to myself and I would say, hold up, Tati, no. No. That's not true. We're done talking you're done talking to yourself like this. You don't deserve it. I don't want to treat you this way. And I don't want to think these things because they are not true. And it was awkward and it was uncomfortable, but it was like that pattern interrupt to break that old thought pattern, to break that old behavior. And I used to just stare at myself. Even if I was crying because I still didn't like what I saw in my body, I still forced myself to do it. And then I would start saying things that I loved within myself. And of course, it started really surface level at first and it was really uncomfortable. This work isn't easy all the time. And I would be like, I love your hair. Because if you know me, I love my hair. I love your eyes, right? Like just surface level things. And with time, as I got more uncomfortable with myself, when I got more comfortable with myself, got deeper in my relationship with me, I dove deeper into things that I truly loved about myself. I would say, I love how you care so much about everyone in your life. You have such a big heart. I love that about you. As I would progress, I would say, I love how you have the courage to chase your dreams no matter what people are thinking of you and you're facing your fears. And I love that. That is so courageous of you. And I started going deeper and deeper and more in depths, right? And I would say these out loud. I would write them down. I would speak it daily. And I would train my mind to start looking at things that I loved about myself versus what I hated about myself. And this is why the power of affirmations is so powerful. I created affirmations to say to myself every day. I would speak these affirmations in the car as I was driving to the job that I hated. And I would be like, you are worthy. You are beautiful. You are unique. And just say positive, loving things to myself. And at first, again, maybe I didn't believe it. Maybe I didn't feel it. But once you say it, repetition is the key to retraining and reprogramming your subconscious mind. I started to believe it. And then I started feeling it. As I was on my health journey at this time. So I started seeing results. I started feeling more comfortable in my body. I just truly was like, okay, I feel good. And in that sense, I was working on my mind, what I would speak to myself, but also how I was looking. And I started to truly feel it for the first time in my life that I was worthy of love. I first started to feel like, wow, I actually like not just how you look, but like who you are, right? I was going through such a big identity shift at this time. This was between like 2017, I believe. And I just kept doing it the more and more. And this is, when I was going into personal development in my mindset, and I just dove deeper into gratitude and owning who I was, the good, the bad, the ugly, and tell myself I was good enough. Even if I had cellulite, even if I had stretch marks, even if whatever it was, I would tell myself, you're still beautiful. And I had to learn how to embrace who I was and how I was made. Because again, God made me this way uniquely. And why do I want to change it? Why do I want to hate myself for it? Right? There's no point in that. It was getting me nowhere. So I want to share with you a few things that you can be doing as well to help you with your self-love journey. Again, it doesn't matter where you're at. We can always improve. I still do it to this day. We can always get better. And, because when we love ourselves, we overflow and we love others harder. And that's how we change the world. And our world needs more love right now. So the first thing I would recommend for you is start observing who you surround yourself with. How do they think and act towards themselves at first? Do they beat themselves up? Do they speak negatively? I mean, think about it. When you were growing up, your mom, your aunt, your sisters, your grandmother, how did they speak to themselves, right? And now how do the people around you currently speak? Because if they're beating themselves up and they're negative, one, said on this episode, but two, who you surround yourself matters. You're the average of the 5 people, so you're not going to be able, it's harder to be able to overcome this journey when you have such negativity. And also observe who you're surrounding yourself with. Do they judge others? Do they talk badly of others, of, someone else's appearance, whatever it may be? And just observe this, because do you want that in your life? Second thing is what are you absorbing online? Who do you follow? What are you seeing? What's their message? And how do you feel when it shows up on your feed? Does it make you feel jealous? Does it make you not happy about yourself? Do you envy them? Or is it uplifting and powerful and loving? That matters. Start surrounding yourself with people and things that love themselves, who embrace who they are. It was the first thing I did was I started finding people who inspired me and motivated me to start loving myself for who I was. And again, I know we have at this time a big movement with, self-love and positive body image and normalizing bodies. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it as long as you're healthy, right? Fueling yourself properly with healthy, nutritious foods and movement, and still owning your skin, because you want to make sure we're being healthy, right? But healthy body, healthy mind. Anyways, what are you surrounding yourself with? And now the most impactful things that you can do for yourself is, first, when you catch yourself saying something bad about yourself, catch it. Become aware of these things. This is why meditation and journaling are so powerful, because you can bring things into your awareness. And every time you catch yourself saying something bad, maybe you're in the mirror or you say something, say 3 to 5 things that are positive and loving that you can say to yourself, and shift it. Retrain your mind to focus on the good and the love versus bad and mean, hurtful things that you say to yourself. And pretty much tell yourself, enough. I'm not taking this shit from you anymore. I'm worthy of nicer words. I'm worthy of love. And start giving it to yourself. Start saying these things. And if you want to go deeper, before I go into the deeper part, maybe write down what are the top things that you say to yourself that are mean, negative. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. Ugh, I'm so fat. Whatever it is, write those down. And then right next to it, draw an arrow and reframe that. And make something positive about it. I love your curves. And create affirmations. I am beautiful in my skin. God made me this way and I'm embracing it, right? And say loving things to yourself. Writing it down can really help when it comes to creating new thought patterns. And then if you want to go deeper, look at yourself in the mirror daily right after you shower. So when you are naked, and look at yourself in the mirror and speak kindly and say loving affirmations to yourself. Because when you're naked, you are in your most rawest form. No makeup, dark circles, maybe cellulite, belly rolls, saggy boobs, stretch marks, whatever it is, you're going to see it all. And you instantly might want to say all of these things like, oh, I wish I could lose 5 pounds, or oh, if only I didn't have these stretch marks, or this cellulite, or whatever that comes to your mind. Let's be real. We can be so mean and harsh to ourselves. But when you can stand in the mirror and you can look at yourself and you can overcome those thoughts and say things that you love, even if it's just surface level at first, even if it's just one step at a time, it's just one thing at a time. It's a snowball effect. You will beyond make a change. And there's some days where you're gonna literally have memories, triggers, negativity, and that's there to help you work through it. Okay, why do I think this way? Is this really serving me saying this to myself? Really? And it gives you the opportunity to change and to grow and to create new thought patterns. And eventually you'll start looking at yourself in the mirror and you'll start getting confidence and you'll start owning yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to call it. And you'll start loving yourself for who you are, because we are more than just our bodies. And I remember when I would do this, it was hard at first. I didn't want to stand in the mirror naked. I would look at every little flaw I had. But over time, one day at a time, getting uncomfortable, I was starting to make a change. And now I'm at the point where I look in the mirror, I don't even think a bad thought probably. If I do, I'll still catch myself and be like, hold up, where the heck did that come from? And I'll shift it. Or sometimes I'll stand in the mirror and be like, I love you. You look beautiful. Even if I am not the most comfortable in my skin at that time, I still will tell myself loving things, because what is being negative getting me? At the end of the day, we're all made differently, and we need to learn how to love ourselves so then we can receive and give love to others. And at the end of the day, there is no one that is you. No one looks like you. No one acts like you. No one thinks like you. No one else is you, and that is your power. And it is your turn to start owning it instead of pushing it down and being so negative. You have a light to shine in this world, and you'll begin to impact those around you once you start working on yourself. Because as you love yourself, you're teaching others how to love you, and you're being a good role model. Imagine the generation we're going to raise when they see us women being empowered and loving ourselves for who we are and what we look like. Woo! We are going to raise a badass loving generation if we do that. We can help those around us find self-love for themselves. And again, we can help teach others, teach us how to love us, because we love us. Well, you'll love yourself and be like, hold up, no. I don't talk to myself like that. Don't you ever talk to me like that, right? Kind words, loving words. And that's when we can set the standards for how people will treat us. But at the end of the day, no one is you, and that is your power. And you are worthy, and you are deserving of loving yourself. You are worthy of receiving and giving love to others. You are worthy of it all. You are beautiful the way you are in this very moment, in your skin. No matter how you look, no matter the flaws that you feel like you have, externally, internally, you are beautiful. You are worthy of this self-love. And I'm telling you, once you can find this within yourself, your life will completely change, and you will just look at the world in a loving way. And at the end of the day, the world needs more love, and we can change the world by first changing ourselves. I hope this episode reminds you of how worthy and how beautiful you are. And I hope that you continue to thrive on this self-love journey, and that you can show up for yourself every single day because you are worthy of it, and start embracing what makes you you. If this episode was impactful at all, please share it to somebody who needs to hear it. Maybe they need to work on loving themselves. Maybe they haven't started. Maybe they're in the middle of it. And just share this, because we can impact others by working on ourselves. And I would love to spread this message, because you deserve that self-love, just how I have found it. If this episode was a good one, if you loved it, please, as always, screenshot it, share it on Instagram, and tag me what you thought. And just remember, you are you. Start owning it, embracing it, and start loving yourself, because you are worthy of it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I cannot wait to watch you love yourself even more. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with me and write an Apple iTunes review so I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't following me already, you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto. I appreciate you so much and cannot wait to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, continue to shine bright and embrace your radiance.